Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us virtually today. We've got an incredible turnout, almost 400 people across Coastal Carolinas, East Carolina, and Raleigh divisions. Many of you work across multiple divisions, so today is important that we are all in alignment. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Erica Schneider, and I am the procurement manager here in Coastal and have been with Pulte for over 9 years now. I'm truly excited to walk you through the improvements we're rolling out and what they mean for your day-to-day work. A big thank you to all the purchasing teams and the IT team who are on the call as well. They are critical partners in making all this work and getting everything ready in the background for go live next week. Here's what we'll cover today. We will have an introduction and overview of what's changing and why. We'll look at how price schedules will replace Schedule A's and how to read them if you're eligible. We will walk through a sample purchase order, including different versions and review colors. We'll explain BWP and purchase order acceptance and what's new there. We'll cover task completion and payment reminders. And finally, we will talk about ongoing support and ending with questions and answers with a brief survey. Because this is a large virtual session, feel free to drop questions in the Q&A button at the top of your screen. We will have people from our team managing that, and I will also stop a couple places to give you an opportunity to ask questions. In this scenario, you will have to raise your virtual hand, and then we will take you off mute so you can ask a question. And this will be recorded, and the document will actually be sent out afterwards. So you will also have this deck for you to review and follow back with it later. So let's jump into it with an overview of what this means to you and how we will support you. With purchase orders, it's going to lead to these three things: better accuracy of material, more transparency, and less admin work. If you've got lot level bombs today, this is going to be very similar to what you look at. If you don't have lot level bombs today, this is going to be a whole new level of clarity that you're going to start receiving. And to be clear, every single trade partner will receive a purchase order per account category. In purchase orders, you'll see exactly what you're going to get paid per lot. You're going to see SKU pricing, if you have SKUs, multiplied by your quantity, which gives you the total. If you don't have SKUs, that's okay. It will show you the total of what you'll get paid for in the house and the puts and takes of each option. What's also great about these purchase orders is that you'll be able to pull them yourself in BWP. So this means you don't have to email a procurement agent anymore if you're missing a lot level bomb or a purchase order, and you'll not have to wait on someone to respond to you. This information will now be at your fingertips. As for support, we are going to start this, we're starting with this trade partner training today, but our procurement and construction teams have been and will continue to go through training so we can get everyone on the same page and ready to support you. Lastly, for BWP integration, like I said, the purchase orders will be available to you in BWP to pull yourself, but we will also have a live demo later showing you exactly where to find them and how to pull them. So let's talk about the biggest change you'll potentially see, which would be price schedules. A price schedule will replace Schedule A's if you are a fully itemized trade with BOM detail. You cannot have any lump sums or rolled up lump sums within your account. If you are able to have SKUs with a price per SKU, then you can transition to a price schedule where you will sign one document for the entire division. Yes, I said that. One price or one document per division. So if you work in multiple divisions, so if you work in Coastal and East Carolina, you will have one price schedule for Coastal and one price schedule for East Carolina. So I know you're asking yourself, how is that possible? Well, a Schedule A that you are signing for is the total. So it's the price per SKU multiplied by the takeoff gives you the total. So you're signing that total. Well, the price schedule is actually just signing the pricing SKU, not the quantity or the total. So that allows you to sign one document for the entire division and not have to worry about signing everything if one little takeoff changes. So let's see what that looks like. This is an example in a perfect world of where you have the same pricing for the entire division. And it is, if you start at the top, you've got your market here or your division. We have your trade partner name here, would be here. In this lovely scenario, we have a banana stand. Then you have all of your SKUs to the left, your unit of measure, and then your division pricing here in the middle. So at this division, you can see here the banana bunch per bundle is $75, which is a little pricey, but if you add any other SKUs down below, you can see how the pricing will change. And then at the bottom, you have similar to your Schedule A notes. So they'll actually build on each other. So the addendum 1 was the new vendor there. So that took effect January 1st. And then there was a price change here. So effective at the end of January, they actually had a 5% decrease. So that created a new addendum and you would sign that new price schedule. But I know you're saying, hey, maybe we have different pricing for community. That's okay, because if you do have deviations, it's going to look something like this. You have your still division pricing here, and then you have different groups of communities with deviations going off to the right. So if you look at group 1 communities, you can see here that the division pricing for the bundle is $75. However, for the group 1 communities, it's $2 more for $77 per bundle. There are keys at the bottom. So you can see group 1 communities consist of these two communities here. So those $77 bundles affect those two communities. Then you have deviations along the bottom as well. If you see a dashed line, that just means that that community group matches your division level pricing. And only deviations will show on the side. And then it will continue going if you have more deviations in other communities. So prime example here, if we have Charleston pricing at one market, then we have Columbia might be different. We could have our Charleston division at our market level and then our Columbia as group 1. So different options you can do here. The purchasing agent will set this up. So they'll work with you as trying to get this cleaned up and get a price schedule out to you if you don't have any lump sum pricing in your account. Now, one thing I do want to mention here, we went over the communities and the dashed lines, but if you see a blank box, which there's no dashed line there, that just means that that SKU and that price is not in that community. So you can see the custom bananas here does not have, it's not available in the group 2 communities, which is one community. And then you have your notes at the bottom as well. So that's kind of how a price schedule works. I'm going to stop here. Do we have any questions to go over a price schedule? You do, you can raise your virtual hand or put it in the Q&A. I see a hand raised. Maddie?
Hi, I'm trying to unmute.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Okay, we have a question. Should be able to speak now for Stella's Construction.
Don't hear anyone if they are.
Yeah, if we unmic you, make sure that you unmic yourself.
Oh, I think I got it.
There you go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Hi, good morning. I have
Morning.
a quick question. If by any chance the purchase orders are to be made like with a price, like an incorrect price, are we able to VPO for the difference?
Yeah, so in that scenario, I would get with your purchasing agent to see what's going on. This is completely different than the purchase order itself. So this is your signing off of the SKU pricing. If there's pricing variances with the price schedule itself, get with the agent. If there's takeoffs or you're seeing something like that, you would still get with the agent tied to the account. But you would want to ideally reach out to them, see if they can get it situated. If it is a one-off, that would probably lead to a VPO or an EPO or something like that. But definitely get with the purchasing agent tied to your account to get that squared away.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
We have a question in the Q&A box.
Perfect.
Says, will we still have a BOM, a source for unit numbers?
Like a lot level bomb, I'm assuming. Lot level bombs will potentially be going away. We will still be able to pull them manually, but you won't be automatically sent a lot level bomb that's being replaced by a purchase order. So you can still request them if you want for manual pull, but you will not automatically get those sent to you. We'll get into purchase orders here after this section so you can see what that looks like, but it looks very similar to a bomb or a lot level bomb report. Okay.
Awesome. That's all we have for right now.
Perfect. All right, so let's keep moving so you can see what everybody is most excited for, which is purchase orders. So it's a long time coming. Purchase orders is your SKU price plus your data equals your total. So that looks like this. So again, in a perfect world, we would have all of our SKUs broken out. So you can see here, we've got all of our job information at the top. You have your purchase order number on the far right, when it was ran. You can see your trade name, your division, community, and lot number with the plan and then address and everything like that. When this example is tied to a construction manager, their name and phone number will tie in here as well. So you'll easily be able to contact the construction manager tied to this specific lot. Then you got all your SKUs at the bottom. If you operate off of room locations, they'll show here. You'll have your unit of measure, your takeoff, your pricing SKU, and then the total will be on the far right. So perfect world, you've got all of your SKUs in here. If they had structural options or anything that changed the base house, they will pull down below and it will add to this BOM detail up above. So you will have your subtotal. If you have tax tied to that, your grand total, and then this again is per account category. So if you've got two separate count categories for your business, let's just say it's mirrors and shelving, then you will have a mirrors purchase order and you will have a shelving purchase order. So multiple account categories will give you multiple purchase orders separate. If you do, I believe Raleigh does not round, but East Carolina and Coastal does round in their Schedule A's. So you might not see rounded numbers here, but you will see rounded numbers in the total, which will match the Schedule A that you currently work off of today. One thing to note, at the bottom, you will have colors. So we'll get into that here in a minute, but you will start seeing those in the bottom as well. So I know you're saying, okay, maybe I don't have all that detail. This is what it would look like if you did not have all that detail. So if you had a lump sum price, in this example, you would not be able to use a price schedule, but this is what a lump sum price would look like. So same information at the top. You would have your lump sum price down at the middle, your room, your quantity of one, your price for that house, and then the total. So same type of thing, just no additional SKUs in there making up what that looks like. And then what is great about purchase orders as well is that it generates new versions if there's changes. So when a house spins configures, it depends on what the purchasing team sets up for your specific account. But whenever the house starts, you will generally get the first purchase order. And then if you have any changes that are tied to the system, if sales or design adds an option, they removes an option, they change a color to a system, maybe the garage handing changed or the lot number changed, anything like that, it will highlight yellow. So it will generate a new purchase order and it will show you exactly what changed in that purchase order. So in this example, you can see that these 3 SKUs changed their SKU pricing, which affected the total and the grand total at the bottom. So it's awesome that you can see that. Now you could have, hopefully this wouldn't happen, but if there were multiple changes in the house, the highlighted yellow goes off of the previous version. So if there's 6 different purchase orders for the house, version 6 would just highlight the variance from version 5. But all of those will be in BWP for you to view. And you can see exactly how the house progressed and what changed within that purchase order. Then moving on to colors. So colors will be listed on the purchase order. However, base house colors will not. You still need to reference BWP for color selections. So as of right now, I would still reference BWP for all color selections. In this example, you can see a great example of countertops. So this vendor is a countertop vendor. They have different countertop colors per option. You still need to go and BWP check those, but later this year, there will be a new version coming out where they're trying to get BWP base house colors in there. So then you will have everything on one document. But for now, continue to check BWP for color selections. But if a color does change on an option, it will highlight yellow and it will send you a new version. So let's pause there again. Purchase orders, any questions, Q&A or virtual, raise your hand. Okay, it looks like we got one. Maddie.
Michelle, if you could unmute your mic, you're ready to go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Oh, we gotcha.
Sorry about that. I had to do it
That's
twice.
okay.
Okay. So I have a question about the changes. I know that you said it will be highlighted. As far as that notifications, like how will we get like a notification? Because I do handle different, like Raleigh, Charlotte,
Sure.
locations. So how will we get a notification, like via email, or how does that work?
Yes, so if you are signed up for emails, you will get an email from BWP saying, hey, this lot changed, something changed in there. You need to go into BWP and it will tell you which lot you need to go and pull, and then you will pull that data yourself. So it will give you information to say, hey, this lot's changed, go and pull it. Anything like that, you will get that. If you are not set up on BWP notifications today, I would make sure you get with your resource team and have them set up for whoever manages that in your company. But you will get a notification saying, hey, something changed. You need to go into BWP and look at it.
Okay. So we would have to have like our own login information for that.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Got a couple more.
We have one from Kristen. If you want to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you. I just had a quick follow-up question to the POs. Will the options be changing along with these POs, or will those still be exportable from BWP?
They should still be exportable, but Kevin, I will let the BWP expert talk on that one.
Yeah, we'll go over what's changing with your BWP functionality, but it's safe to assume that all of your access that you have currently in BWP will not change in that regard.
Wonderful, thank you.
Awesome. We have a question from Andrea. You can go ahead and ask your question. Andrea, I think you might need to unmute your mic. Andrea, do you still have a question? Okay. We'll come back. We'll come back. Awesome. We have a question from Brandy. Give me 1 second. Okay, Brandy, unmute your mic and you can ask your question.
Hey, can you hear us?
Yes.
We got you.
We're with C&M Plumbing. Just a quick question. When will the PO actually drop? Will it be the first day the work has started, or will we have it like a week in advance? What are we to expect with that?
You'll have plenty of time. So it depends on what's set up. So with plumbing, you don't want it necessarily started too far ahead of time, right? Because there might be changes within that, but it depends on your procurement team, and you might be set up at whenever the house spins, or you might be set up at the framing stage. So it depends on that stage in BWP of that house, but you're not gonna get it right before it happens or anything like that. So it should be depending on frame start, second start, SCAR start, configured. It depends on which account you have, but it's not gonna send out, right before the house or you're supposed to be on the job.
Okay, perfect. And then this may be a question for later on down the road, but I'll go ahead and throw it out there.
Sure.
Like with our Schedule A's, the way we use them now is like the day that we do the job. So let's say we do a slab today, the 12th, we go ahead and bill it out. Will that be the same way? Like as far as payment wise, like you'll still be like net 30?
Yeah, so payment will not change at all.
Mhm.
There will be a couple hiccups just for this month since we're pulling data at different times, but payments will not change. Once you have completed that task in BWP and the construction manager checks off that the work is completed, it will automatically trigger for payment. What's nice about the purchase orders is that you will get visibility upfront what you're going to be paid for early on in the process.
Perfect. So if we're missing anything, we can reach out and it can be adjusted or whatnot.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And now, is there anything that we need to click off on our end with the purchase orders?
No, if you have anything like one-off payments, anything like that, you'll still need to follow the same process. Well, you'll have to go in and claim that individual payment, but nothing else is going to change. So it will still automatically trigger as long as it's not a one-off payment.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, I think we're going to move on. If you still have questions, keep your hands raised and we'll get to you in a few minutes.
Awesome.
We do have a few in the chat. I don't know if we want to address those now. Should we wait till after this one?
Let me see.
There's a few BWP questions I can address when I take over, Erica.
Sure, absolutely. Why don't we go ahead and do that, and then we'll follow up, make sure everything is taken care of.
Okay.
Great, take it away, Kevin.
Okay, my name is Kevin McFall. I am I'm a product owner of the house cost per application, which is our internal app that it generates our purchase orders, which you will all be receiving by this time next week. What I'm going to go over today is the Build with Pulte, the changes that we've made that you as trade partners will see Monday morning when you log into the application, and what to expect on a go forward. I do see there's about 6 or 7 questions out there on BWP. I will get to those as soon as I'm done here with the quick demo. So what you're going to see here, we're going to go through search jobs, how to access your purchase orders for your specific trade partner, which is a page in the application that's already accessible to you today. What we've added new is the search job POs, which is a more pointed search to your purchase orders and how to access them. We'll go over what's new notifications. There are a few questions on how do I know when I've received a new purchase order, the payments portion of the portal, how to download the POs, and when we do have new versions, what does that look like and how do we access those? So I'm going to go ahead and take over the screen here. Okay, Erica, if you can just give me a head nod when you can see my screen.
We got you.
Okay. Alrighty, so first thing I want to mention, most of you have probably already registered with BWP or are in some capacity using the Build with Pulte portal through your respective procurement markets. But if you have not, let's take today as an opportunity to go ahead and do so. And in addition to that, if you have not accessed BWP in over 90 days, your registration with the application will have lapsed at this point. So in order to prepare for next week and what's to come, and having quick access to all of your POs, we want to make sure that we clear all those gaps by the end of the week, if at all possible. So if you have lapsed, go in and take the corrective measures to go ahead and reset your password, and your local BWP admin will re-authenticate you. If you're not an active trade partner in BWP, signing up is super easy. I'm here on our homepage, which is BWP. This is a testing environment, but it'll be just bwp.pulte.com. And then you're simply just going to follow the steps on this Become a Trade Partner access link here. It's relatively simple. There's some disclaimers here. And then once you accept that, you can go through and start setting up all of your relevant trade partner details for those of you who are not currently registered. So go ahead and make sure that you have that done by the end of the week. If you have any questions on specific setup steps, either Erica, Stephen Carlton, or really anybody who's a facilitator of this meeting can help you get through that. Okay. So assuming that we are a registered trade partner, when you log into BWP Monday morning, it's going to now look like this. It's not too terribly different than what you're used to now. I do want to call your attention to this jobs dropdown and how we have new options here. Okay. So when we first access the app, you're going to see a few things here. You're going to see site news over on the left-hand side, which is where you're going to receive your notifications of new purchase orders. We'll go over how to sign up for those here in a moment. But what I want to point your attention to is this first link, the search jobs. I'm registered, I'm logged in as a trade partner, same example that Erica was showing earlier. This is going to be a more pointed approach. If you're just looking at a singular job, you can type that in here. In this case, I'm in our Michigan market. What you're going to want to do is type in a single lot that you're looking for. Let's say you've received a notification that you've received new purchase orders, or new purchase orders have been generated for, in this case, lot 16 in this Michigan market. So you're simply going to type in the lot that you're trying to access at this point and just do an open search on that lot. Now, this page is already accessible to you in BWP. There's only one change to it. Sorry. Okay, so you're going to just simply click into your lot here, and I'll show you what has changed about it, if it hasn't kicked me out for lapsing. There we go. Okay, so what you're going to see that is new as of Monday morning is this job POs link right here. Accessing this job POs link will provide you with all of the necessary information for purchase orders that have been created for this particular job that you've been assigned to. Okay, so you'll see every single version, and I'll go over what this looks like here in just a moment. But this will be your initial purchase order that was delivered to you based on the configuration stage that Erica just mentioned. If you're a trade partner that does work earlier in our construction process, you're probably going to receive your purchase orders at RTC or at the start of our construction schedule. If you are more on the finish or let's say appliance side of things, you're going to receive your purchase orders more likely later in the construction process after we've gone through our design appointments, things of that nature. So when you should expect to see them will fall mostly on when are you doing the work for the job. In this case, you can download all of your purchase orders on the specific job from each one of these links below. We are working on cleaning these links up a little bit so they're more detailed as to what specifically are you going to look at. But you can see at the end of each one of these, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are your 4 different purchase orders. I'm not going to download them yet. I'm going to show you how to access them from a different page. So this is on the jobs, search jobs function in BWP. There's another method, which is what we've been hearing is our more preferred method of accessing our purchase orders. And that is under that jobs, search job POs link here. And this allows you to search more broadly for all the purchase orders that you might have spanning multiple different, if you're doing work in multiple different communities, this is how you can access this page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and search for that same lot. And what this will happen here, I believe there was a question in the chat about if you do multiple different trades, or we've had that asked in the past. If you are doing work with multiple different trade categories for Pulte, you will see all of those here. So these are all, fake purchase orders that are dummy POs, but you'll see the trade categories here. So if you're a pro builder and you're providing lumber or roofing or interior trim, interior doors, you would see those broken out by each trade category right here. There was also a question on if you're an electrical trade and we have 3 different payment drops with you for rough or trim or final. Will those be separate POs? No, they will not be separate purchase orders. The way our system is currently set up that we are delivering purchase orders to our trade partners per trade category. So if you are a plumber, you will receive 1 purchase order. If you are an electrician, you will receive 1 purchase order for your trade. We will detail out each and every single one of your payment drops on that purchase order, but you will not receive a new PO for those payment drops in the schedule. It's just the expectation that you're receiving the entire job at once. And if anything changes, even if you've already completed the rough-in, you will be receiving an updated PO to reflect those changes. Okay. So what we can show you here is how do we access our POs from this page. So the expectation would be that you as a trade partner, whether you're new or already existing in BWP, you're logging in, you're receiving your notifications. This is where you're most likely going to end up. There's 2 icons on each one of these line items, and each one of them does something a little different. This first filled in file icon will always download your most current version of your job purchase order. So if I select this button, it'll download your PO into a browser and look something like this. This is our most current version. So in this case, we've voided out this purchase order. This is what a voided PO does look like. If for any reason your work is not going to be complete for this particular job, you'll receive a voided PO, essentially showing that our payment total for this lot is 0. Now, if I want to see the history of this purchase order, I can click on this time icon just to the right. This will show me every single PO from its origin in January 22 of 2025 is when we first created this purchase order, and then each subsequent change that we've made. And I think it's important to call those out. So I'll show you, this is the one that Erica went over in our example. This is what you can expect to have a base purchase order delivered to your inbox and what it looks like. Now, there were questions on change management. Let's say that you are in active negotiations with our procurement team, or we've had, I think our plumber asked questions on if we need changes, what does that look like? Which is a great question. If you have a quantity change, or you're saying, hey, that's not enough PEX, for example, or we need more 2x4s from our lumber providers, those updates will be, make sure you're contacting your procurement teams to make those changes. And then we can make those in our procurement systems and spit out a new purchase order to reflect those changes. And that would be version 2 in this case. You'll see this was created on February 10th of last year. And if I go ahead and open up that one, you can see that we've highlighted the changes that we've made here. In this case, we added some room locations for deliveries on this purchase order. And what that does, excuse me, what that does is it will remove, show highlighted here, that we removed all of our standard SKUs and we added in new SKUs with room locations in this case. In this particular scenario, our price did not change. We just kind of retooled how we're delivering these items to the job site. But the expectation would be for the trade partners on the call that if anything changes on your purchase order, that you would expect to see a new version. That's down to the elevation, the garage handing. If we have permit numbers that change, or your contact name, the contact name will be a field manager that is assigned to the job that you are doing work for. If you have any questions as it relates to the purchase order in particular, we still want you to go through your procurement teams over. Quantities, if those change, you'll see those quantities highlighted. Unit costs will highlight for changes, and then really everything down to your grand total. If any of these changes come in after we've already paid you either a portion or all of your purchase order, which does happen from time to time. Let's say there are updates that came in and we either missed a lot or there was communication lapse between field and procurement or procurement and the trades. We will show you a paid amount already, and then we'll show you an adjusted total right below your grand total, which will help you reconcile on the trade partner side. Okay. So that is how you access all your version history. They will be stored in perpetuity for you. If you ever have any questions on them, or if you need to reference for any sort of payment reconciliation form, that will all be there for you to access whenever you need to. Okay. What's new notifications? The first thing we want you to do as you reactivate your account and then you go in Monday morning, we want you to go to your account dropdown in the top right corner here. You see Edward Bluth. And then we're going to go to the My Profile section of that. In this part of the application, this is where we can have you sign up for all sorts of different notifications. You can just navigate over to this settings section, and you're going to see a new, for those of you who are familiar with this, you're going to see a new field here called Job PO. It's important we go in here and just make sure that this is checked off, as this will trigger on your what's new notifications for any job purchase orders that will be delivered and or updated, new versions, etc., to your inbox. You'll receive those emails a day in arrears. So if we have changes that occur on a Monday, you'll receive that email the following day saying, hey, yesterday all of this changed, or you received X amount of new POs, and this is what it looks like for you now. So important to get that signed up for, unless you're actively in BWP every single morning, checking to see if you have POs. This is a good way to make sure you're staying up to date and you're receiving emails that are more proactive as opposed to reactive in that sense. Okay, our payments portal. I don't think you should expect too much change here. You can now search by if you are looking for to make sure a specific PO is changed. You can go over to invoices in this sense, and then you will type in your PO number right here on your document is going to be the exact same invoice number. So if you have any questions as it relates to, hey, did this purchase order pay and what check was it on, or when can I expect to receive payment? Go ahead and type that into your invoice number, and that is the best way to search for those. We're going to have more expanded search for POs and invoices and check numbers in the near term. But for now, that is the best way to go search for whether or not a specific invoice has been paid on the trade partner side. Okay, and you'll still receive very similar remittance information. The only difference will be you'll have that direct PO number on there, and then you can access your checks in BWP as you can today to reference those, and those PO numbers will have the lot address on there. It's mildly different in how you're viewing and accessing it, but you can obtain all of the same information. Okay, if at any point in time you do have questions or you are getting stuck or BWP is new to you, we're not going to do a full training of BWP today. This is really just to introduce you to what are the job POs, what does that function look like. But if you are new to BWP and you have questions, please go to the profile dropdown and go to help. And this will allow you to access Knowledge Owl, which is a pretty handy tool within Build with Pulte. And this can guide you through the entirety of the application, including the new PO function and access to those POs. On a go forward, this is live for us for Pulte Monday morning. But the way our purchase orders are delivered is based on new job configurations going forward. So if you have any in-flight jobs with Pulte at the moment, you will not be receiving purchase orders for those jobs that are already created and construction has already started. So what we are going to do Monday morning is reconfigure depending on your market. I think East Carolina has upwards of 80. Coastal Carolina has upwards of 15 new jobs. In Raleigh, I'm not entirely certain on how many jobs there are, but we're going to reconfigure these jobs, which will create purchase orders for each and every one of you on this call that you will see Tuesday morning coming into the office. The POs are created overnight. And since it's an overnight job, it'll run Monday evening. So you should not expect to see anything until Tuesday morning. And at that point, if you have any questions on what you receive, what you're receiving in the BWP application, please reach out to your local procurement contacts and they can help point you in the right direction. But we do ask that you are actively reviewing these, as this is a new process for both Pulte procurement and then also for you guys on the trade partner side as well. So please make sure you take the time Tuesday morning to get into BWP, to access your POs and make sure that everything looks good. As you know, as with any new process, especially with any new technology process, we do expect that, we might uncover some things in this process. So please make sure you have open lines of communication all throughout next week and really on a go forward basis. The procurement teams are here and ready to help. Okay. So I'm going to ask for questions on this particular function before we kind of take us home for the rest of this presentation. I see one in the chat. Sorry, go ahead, Mandy.
Mark, I see your hand is raised. If you want to unmute yourself, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, sorry about that. It took me a minute to figure out the mic. Quick question on this multiple payment drops on each PO. If we have multiple payments, I assume there'll be multiple invoice numbers. Is there an ability to log in multiple invoice numbers on one PO?
Yeah, so you're correct in the sense that there will be multiple invoice numbers. The only difference of those invoice numbers is we have a dash account category at the end. So let's say you have, in this case, we have 20105. If we had a 20106 on this PO, the invoice, instead of being dash 20105, would be 20106. So you'll receive all of those on your PO. It'll show that, and you can just search by the account code at the end.
Okay, so there's a differentiator for each payment drop.
Each payment, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. Yeah, for everybody on the call, the invoice numbers match the POs exactly here, and then it'll be dash account category that we're paying will be the invoice number.
All right. Andrea, you can go ahead and ask your question. Unmute your mic. Or Andre, I apologize, Andre.
Hey, good morning. My name's Cameron here with Andrew Moore. So yeah, we're working for Charlotte Market. I just have a question with Galloway Townhomes because we haven't seen POs for that particular community for the past year. So I'm just wondering if we're gonna start seeing POs again by next week.
You're saying you haven't seen POs where you're at currently?
Yeah, for the Galloway Townhomes. I haven't seen POs downloaded in BWP lately, but I've seen POs for the new communities, but not for the Galloway townhomes. Wondering if we're gonna see POs downloaded for that again.
Yeah, I can speak to Galloway in particular. Galloway was a unique scenario in Charlotte where they configured those homes back in November of 2024, which was actually pre-cut over to this app. So it falls under, and they didn't start them until I believe a month or two ago. So in that scenario, because of the way they set it up in their system, it happened pre-conversion to our purchase order system. So they don't technically require they don't meet the requirements for purchase order delivery. And that's why you're not seeing them for a lot of those Galloway lots. I've been in contact with the Charlotte team. At this point, since they're already under construction, it's unlikely that you see any purchase orders for those lots, but you should see them on a go forward for anything that configures net new in Galloway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Chloe. If you want to unmute yourself, you can ask your question.
Hello. I caught the tail end of where is it? The profile part. Were you saying that you can make it where you get emails for whenever POs get put in?
That's correct. Yeah. So when you go into your profile dropdown and then select settings. So under your name, my profile, and then select settings. This is going to be a new selection that's added as of Monday morning. And it's just titled job PO. So make sure you check that or make sure it's checked, and then you'll receive notifications for any job PO notifications that come through as of Monday, really Tuesday morning is when you start receiving them.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Okay, and we have a question from Jody. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Jody, you're still muted. Give Jody. So Jody, go ahead and come off mute and talk whenever you're able to. There's one comment I want to address on here from Grace Huggins with Thomas Concrete. So concrete is hard to nail down an exact amount on a PO, and there are usually variances. How will we handle EPOs? Will there still be a tracker? I can't speak to the tracker. That's probably going to be a question for local procurement. But what we'd ask is your process with your procurement teams now should remain the same. So if you have changes that you need to make on a PO that don't match what is contracted, or if you're currently paid through EPO, we'd like to move you to the new job purchase order process, and then we can just reissue a new PO if you have changes you need to make. But the variances will now be paid through our new application when and wherever possible. So it's a cleaner process now. We can issue a new PO with whether it's if you're a turnkey trade, we can issue a new one with a new lump sum cost on it. Or if you are a detailed SKU level trade partner, we can simply update those quantities and reissue at that point, and you'll have it within 5 minutes of that new reissue.
And I'll jump in here
Yep.
Grace, we will still be using the tracker for you guys, just for now, so we can make sure we've got everything until we can narrow down the variances more, but we'll continue using that as we use it today.
I see a comment in the Q&A that says Jody can't unmute. So Jody, if you want to just put your question in the Q&A, we can see it and we can answer it that way.
As far as repair work, it depends. So Robin said, how will this work for us as far as repair work? It really depends on if you're currently contracted to do this or not. If it's something that you're currently paid through our field purchase order application, and you're not on a Schedule A or in the future state a price schedule with us, I'd expect that not to change for you. If you are contracted for repair work, you should expect to receive POs next week. And all the same rules apply for you going forward. But if you are a invoice or a field PO or EPO, as some call it, trade partner, then your process will really not change as much.
Kevin, there are 2 new questions in the Q&A. If you can answer those.
Right. Okay, so I hopped on a little late, so I currently get Excel sheets, emails as POs, which I could never see on BWP. So now with this new update, will we be able to see those on BWP as well as get those emails? If you, again, the answer is somewhat similar. If you're contracted through a Schedule A, you should expect to see PDF purchase orders Tuesday morning for all of your jobs going forward. If you're paid through invoice and you're more of a lot specific trade partner, your process again probably won't change too much right now. We're still going to try to move you over to this purchase order system with future enhancements and more lot specific invoicing through this app. But if you're receiving Excel emails, maybe a lot level BOM perhaps is what you're receiving, you will receive new PDF documents like you're seeing on my screen here in BWP Tuesday morning. And you will no longer receive those Excel sheets on a go forward. Those are going to be, Erica mentioned it earlier, if you want to receive them for any reason, your procurement teams can download them for you manually, but there will no longer be automated delivery of those Excel documents to you. So hopefully I answered that question.
Kevin, I'm seeing a couple questions kind of on the same theme of scheduling. Could you speak to how POs work with scheduling? I see some people are saying, will there be a PO for each scheduled task? And will the scheduling aspect remain the same?
Okay, the latter answer, will scheduling remain the same? Yes. Your scheduling and the way you communicate with your field team and your schedules will not change at all. The question on will you receive a PO per task? That answer is in short, no, you won't. The way that we are set up now is per trade category that you work with, you will receive 1 PO per trade category with very few exceptions to that rule. So if you have multiple tasks spanning multiple days, whether it's drywall install or lumber deliveries or roofing or trim or any of that, it's still roofing, for example, is 1 trade category. You will receive 1 purchase order, which will be paid whenever that task completion and payment trigger, which is whatever you have set up with our field teams. Whenever that is completed, you'll still be paid based off of the same task completions that you are today. So none of that will change. It's simply your material delivery document when it gets delivered to you. And in many cases, like I mentioned earlier, depending on when you do the work, when you drop your deliveries or when you're doing the install for our job site will vary, based on the time of the construction or the install. So your schedule will not change. The way you're getting paid will not change in terms of our field teams will check off those tasks and it will trigger automatic payment of our purchase orders. You'll just know exactly what you're being paid for the lot ahead of time by way of this document that's delivered to you. And you'll have ample opportunity leading up to the work being done to ask any questions you might have to your procurement teams, your procurement contacts, or clear out any variances that you think might exist, whether it be install questions or materials that you're providing to the job site. And that actually is a good opportunity to mention payment. For a week of go live, as we transition from one application to the next, we are not doing any off-cycle payments with the exception of our go live week, which is starting tomorrow and really spanning through Monday morning. So what we are doing internally is we are cutting 1 off-cycle check Friday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, which will hit your bank account. Our AP person's on the phone here. She can tell me when that'll hit the bank account, or if you just want to put it in the chat, Alicia. But you will be paid early for work leading up to Friday. And then you will not be paid next week, as we're not doing any check runs next week as we sort through all of our data migration to this new application. You would usually have a check hitting your bank account next Friday. That check will be pushed back two business days till Tuesday of the following week. So as opposed to hitting your bank accounts Friday the 20th, you should expect to receive that money Tuesday, the 24th, which is a 2 business day lapse. But you are receiving a check, a payment from up to Friday, which I think should hit your account Tuesday, the 17th, which is technically off cycle. So that is just to make sure that we don't have any payment gaps on our side. We want to make sure all our data is clean, and we want to make sure that we're not short paying you or overpaying. We want to make sure everything's accurate as we transition from one application to the next.
I see a question in the chat about warranty work. Will those still come from customer care?
Yeah, warranty work's not going to change. It's not contracted work. So if you're strictly a warranty trade partner, unfortunately, this isn't going to change too much for you and you won't get the benefits of this. But if you do warranty in addition to contracted work for us, your contracted work portion of your job will change, whereas warranty will still be more probably either field PO or off-cycle stuff.
There was a
With
question
the-
as well. Sorry, Kevin.
No, you're good.
There was a question as well about just repair work. So outside of warranty or customer care, if you just have a repair with a house under construction that has not closed yet, you will follow the same process that you do today. So you would work with that construction manager, maybe procurement agent, anything like that. That will not show up on a purchase order. So anything that's a one-off like that, continue your process today. Anything that's normal contracted work, that will flow through a purchase order.
There's a question on will we bill it until both phases are complete? So no, the way our account codes, let's say you have 3 account codes or 3 payment draws on a single PO, we will still pay them the same as we do today. So when you complete your first payment trigger, in this case, you mentioned rough and trim. When you complete your rough portion of the work, our field managers are checking that off as complete, and you'll be paid in that next check run for the rough work being completed. So even though it's one purchase order that you're receiving for all of that work, we're still going to pay you in those accounts as you complete them. So you'll receive 2 separate payments as you normally do today, just showing them on one document.
I see a question in the chat about the payment information that gets emailed to trades. Alicia, are you able to go ahead and speak to that?
Not sure if you might have to unmute
She
her.
might not be able to unmute.
There we go.
I'm trying
I see
to
it.
find the question on here.
I'll read it to you. So it says,
Perfect.
when we receive payments from Pulte, achhelp@pultegroup.com, we get an email labeled invoices submitted to pay mode X for payment from Pulte Homes. Will we still be receiving this breakdown every payment of both contracted work and also invoices/POs, or will I have to go in every Tuesday to the site?
So you will still get notification about your payment processing. However, the new remittance will not have the full details. So you will have to go into Build with Pulte after that deposit to see the full details of your community lot, etc.
Which is something I believe we're working on enhancing. But you know, it'll probably be a couple months before we're able to provide more details there. But BWP has everything you need from a check perspective. It'll have all your details for when a purchase order was paid on which check.
Okay, I see another question from Andre. I'm going to unmute you and you can go ahead and answer your question. I mean, ask your question, sorry.
Sure, yeah. Just had a question about Pay Mode X. Ever since we've started working with Pulte, we've been trying to get Pay Mode X. I mean, we have Pay Mode X with other builders and stuff. I think they told us once we was signed up Pay Mode X, and I see that, you know, other divisions of IES are getting Pulte PayModex, but we're still getting live checks and we haven't been able to resolve that for some reason.
Andre, let's do this. Alicia, can we put him in touch with somebody at AP Help after this meeting to make sure we can sort him out?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. If you can give me all of your information, I can share it with our AP Help team. They can submit your request to the bank and they will reach out to you directly for you to fill out the information for you to get set up with direct deposit.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, I see a question from EDE, Eid. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I apologize, but I'm going to unmute you. So unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Hey, it's Edie. I have been with y'all for a couple months now, and I've already talked to several people with y'all, but we are getting our ACHs in our bank, but I don't have any way to reconcile them, I guess. So I would like to get in touch with the AP department also to figure out a remittance for the payments that we've already been paid.
Okay, let's can you shoot me an email? It's just first out, last name, and then we'll get you. I'll see if I can sort out your question first, and then if not, I'll get you in touch with the same AP Help team.
Okay, what's your email?
It's just kevin.mcfall@pultegroup.com. I can put it in the chat.
How do you spell your last name? I'm sorry.
I'm going to put it in the chat right now for you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You can also go into Build with Pulte to pull that information as well.
I don't have the payment tab on my screen.
Mm.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, probably. That's probably a permissions question that's you can sort out.
Yeah. And I've spent hours trying to get this worked out with my local people, and I haven't got anywhere. So yeah, I'm just trying to apply everything correctly. So any help I can get would be great.
Sure. We'll make sure you're taken care of.
All right. Thank you.
I see a couple questions in the chat. So Jill asks, are you still going to require lien waivers for each invoice?
I would imagine that process isn't changing. This is more on the front end of payments as opposed to the back end, but maybe Alicia can speak to that more.
Honestly, I'm not exactly sure. So I can reach out to the team that handles the liens and we can give you that information, hopefully before the call is disconnected.
If not, we'll find who was it who asked that. We'll get you an answer. It's a phone call.
It was Jill, I believe. Yeah. All right.
We caught up on questions?
I think we are.
I'm gonna go ahead and change my presentation here real quick.
Oh, sorry, Kev. I got another question.
You're good. We'll get set up here.
Okay. I see Vicky. Vicky, did you have your hand raised? All right. I'm going to. Okay. You are good to ask your question, Vicky. Just unmute yourself and you should be able to talk.
Okay, looks like we have some more mute issues there.
Yeah. Guys, if you're not able to unmute yourself, just pop the question in the Q&A and we will make sure that we see it and answer it.
There's another question, Eric. I saw you answered it. I'm going to give a little more color to that. No pun intended. Erica mentioned that we want you to go to BWP for color selection. Internally, we are working on a permanent solution to where all colors will be displayed for base house, and your full order document will be included. That's going to be a end of Q1, early Q2 enhancement to where you'll no longer have to reference BWP for any of these, and you'll receive a full complete order document with change management that will update anytime perhaps a reselect. In this particular example, stain color for front doors, if that does change, you'll receive a new PO. So that's near term. But yes, we want you to go to BWP for anything that involves stain color selection or color selection. Even like room locations, if you're an electrician installing ceiling fans, for example, something like that. Anywhere where a base house selection has been made, we want you to reference that BWP. Okay, so I think that one's good. All right, so let's take it home. So a lot of this I already touched on, guys. So the PO process that we want you to follow is, I mentioned Tuesday morning, you're going to be receiving, depending on how much work you're doing for us, dozens of POs over the next couple days, depending on which market and how many jobs you have with us. But we mentioned they're generated based on construction stage. For the first batch of purchase orders, which are going out Monday evening into Tuesday morning, we're going to trigger all of these off of our configured status, which means we internally have built a house configuration and approved a job initiation order internally. So you'll receive a lot of these earlier than you will normally in a normal construction process. And that's really because we want you guys to get in the application, start reviewing these POs. As I mentioned, it is a brand new process, so we want to expose you all to more of these earlier on to eliminate any potential errors, and we can turn them around in relative short order. What that does mean is for those of you who are more on the back end of our design process, you're going to be receiving more versions of these purchase orders as we go through design sales meetings with our buyers, potential buyers, or just the normal design process of our specs. You're going to be receiving more versions of these POs than you will in a normal course of business. That should be expected. So don't be alarmed if you start seeing version 2, version 3, version 4 of colors change. That's really just so we can expose you to more of these up front. If you're on the design end in the future, we would likely put your PO delivery after a design appointment, maybe when we hit frame or at least start, and it won't be as soon as we configure them. Okay. So again, I asked, upon receipt, please review the POs and get with your procurement teams. If you say, hey, this doesn't look right, I'd like it to be changed here. Make sure you're reviewing them in relative short order, especially this week. Try and get in there before Thursday if you can, and review the POs that have been delivered to you. If we don't receive anything from you on a specific PO, we're going to consider that an accepted PO. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're ready to for you to be on the job site with what we've sent to you. That does not mean that we're going to ignore you if you have any future questions. The procurement teams are there to help you. We want to make sure that our order documents to you are correct. But there is also an expectation that you are reviewing them on your end within 48 hours, give or take. If you have problems with that, again, please reach out to your local procurement representation on that. Okay, again, I mentioned this already, task completion and payments, none of that's changing. As soon as one PO does not mean that we're paying you at once for all of your work if you're on multiple account codes. When we complete a task, it spins overnight and creates a payment record for you, and your normal payment process will go as it does today, with the only exception being this week and next week for go live activities. Other than that, you should not expect any delays in payment or really any changes to your payment schedule. Okay, I guess I'm ahead of myself here. Your payment schedule will remain the same. Again, reiterating, payment tasks have payment triggers tied to them. That does not change. The division's not going to cut off cycle checks. That's one thing that's important for us to note. We are fully automating this process. So the expectation will be that, please reference our accounts payable calendar if you have any questions as to when a payment will hit your account. If you have any specific questions, we can point you to our AP help team. Okay, support. What does this look like on a go forward? Your procurement team is here to help you. And if there are any questions that you guys have on purchase order deliveries or payments or really anything, just make sure that you guys keep an open line of communication. But what's most paramount in this is make sure everybody, our team, both internally from an IT perspective and a product development perspective, we're going to be on site next week with all of the 3 markets going live. We're going to be helping these procurement teams through this process in addition to them helping you through the process. So we're going to be reviewing every single PO that goes out internally, and we'd ask that you guys do the same. And really, with that partnership, we should be able to correct almost all of your issues within 24 hours if you do have any. So both teams are on site ready to help you. If there's anything that the procurement team that can't help you with that is more systems related, then we'll make sure we draw whatever resources are needed on a go forward. But you guys are in pretty good hands with the 3 markets. The procurement teams here, world class. So I don't expect that there's any real issues there. Okay, wrapping it up. Next steps. Contact your procurement agent for price schedule updates. Can't reiterate enough how awesome that price schedule is from an administrative burden standpoint. It's super awesome to get you guys moving off of those Schedule A's externally onto that price schedule universe. I would highly suggest that you guys do whatever you can to get over to those, and the procurement teams will be ready and willing to move you over to that. If you have any quantity adjustments, SKU changes, again, contact procurement. Let's try and do that as opposed to going through the field managers to write field purchase orders. Let's try and correct it on a more proactive basis, so we don't run into field delivery issues, short ships, over ships. Let's correct it permanently going forward. And we're going to have, like I mentioned, we're going to have CM and FM field manager info on these POs. But really, that should be more for delivery questions. If you have specific questions on the meat and potatoes of the PO, the pricing, the quantities that are being delivered, make sure you're going through procurement, as they're the ones who really set up those contracts and they're driving those deliveries. Okay, we have a division contact list posted in BWP for any questions you may have, and they should be able to take any questions you guys have and turn them around pretty quick. So Kurt, I'm going to kick it over to you if you want to speak to this. And really before we wrap up, if there's any questions we have on the entirety of the process for Erica, myself, or anybody else in the call, now's a good time to ask them. We are available afterwards. If it's procurement related, please go through them. But everybody's available to answer your questions now if you have any.
Yeah, are there any other questions? Maddie, we good?
Just looking. Will the bidding process change?
No, your bidding process will not change. And it's a good question. Somebody asked earlier about having quantities prior to. Your PO is really going to be your document that will drive what shows up on the job site. But procurement, and I think Erica, you can speak to this, procurement is still going to verify the bill of material quantities through a bid process prior to you ever receiving a purchase order. So those will be ironed out. And I guess, Erica, if you want to talk to that a little bit beforehand too.
Yeah, so bidding will stay the same. If you currently bid with your agent today, that will stay the same. Some of us don't, like some of us have division pricing. So I'm not bidding, for example, flooring. I don't bid on every single community. I have a division price. So that process will stay the same. If you have any questions, particularly around bidding, contact your local procurement agent.
Thanks, Erica. I have a couple more questions coming in. So, Kevin, can you go over how to get a BWP login one more time, please?
The login specific, do we have Steven in the room?
Yeah, so folks, BWP on the actual splash page, we can actually put the website in a if your trade partners.
Steven's too far away from his mic. We can't really hear him. Maddie, if you want to let him know.
Well, we're in separate rooms, but yes, Stephen was saying we can put a link in the chat and you should be able to take it from there. Okay, some more questions. So anyone who utilizes like EPOs for work above and beyond contracted work, that process should not change. This is a process change for any contracted work. So anyone who's currently on a Schedule A. Kevin, if you want to speak to that a little bit, we've got a couple questions regarding that as well as.
Let's see the Schedule A one as well.
Okay, thanks.
Address both of those. Yeah, thank you. So utilize POs, EPOs on the home building side of things, but we also have AIA contract billing. So short answer is, for now, if we pay you through an EPO, it really depends on the type of work you're doing. If it's more lot specific costs or non-contracted costs that you're performing on the house that is planned, then the teams are gonna pay you the same way they pay you today. We have plans on a go forward to move you into this more purchase order space, but we're still working through the details of how that wants to work. So stay tuned, and when we do have a solution for that, we'll put it into Stephen or your local representative will put it into the BWP portal and with instructions of how things are going to work going forward. But expect no changes Monday for if you're paid through an EPO. Expect no changes on that for Monday. Your contract billings will go through this new PO process though. And then a question on if a trade partner uses Schedule A's, will we no longer need to use them? So it's a good question. Schedule A's are going away from an administrative burden if you are on price schedule only. If you are not able to get to and not knowing who your trade partner is, if you are a full detail provider and you're able to move over to that price schedule universe, you'll only need to sign that one document, and your POs that you receive will tell you what you're being paid for each and every lot for the full option configuration on that job. You still need to, from a contractual standpoint, if you're not able to move to price schedule, you still need to view and sign those Schedule A's just to establish a working contract between Pulte and trade partner. But effectively, per job, you'll be paid based off of the job purchase order on a go forward.
And I do have one question about the VPI process and if that will change.
It will not change. Our hope is that you just have less of them. So now that we have a more thorough, here's what we want on each job site, and if you have questions to what we're asking you to put on the job site, then let's try and sort them out before we ever get to payment. Obviously, things will still come up, but we've seen a pretty steep reduction of VPIs in our two markets that we are live in. So the expectation is that given that we're providing more detail upfront earlier in the process, and it's more pointed job specific detail, where we had our VP of procurement here said it pretty well this morning in a meeting. You're having now to triangulate Schedule A to materials to unit costs and try and find out, okay, I am owed $1,000 for this lot. Now we're just putting it out there for you. Here's what our systems tell you should be paid based on the option configuration of this specific job. If you question that, then let's figure it out beforehand. So the process for VPIs will not change, but you should see a significant reduction. Maybe not immediately, but over time, you should see a significant reduction in VPIs that you have to issue. And Stephen did just post that account login on BWP in the chat. So if you need that, please go reference it.
Kevin, can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so folks, if you need to register a new user account, regardless if your trade partner, your company is already a user account, if you want individual user accounts, each one of you must go through that process of clicking on Become a Trade Partner on our BWP splash page. And relative to the BWP access. If you currently cannot see payments, that's likely because you only have read-only access. Access can be granted to see those parts of the application by your procurement team. Specifically, resource planning typically handles that access level. But if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'll put my contact information in.
Excellent. Okay, I feel like we're through most of the questions. So Kurt, why don't you take it over?
Yeah, good deal. So there is a QR code on the screen, and most of you are already in there filling out your survey. So we do ask for you to please fill this out so you get credit for being here. There's also a link in the Q&A, and I'll also open the chat up and posted it there so you can click it. After this meeting is done, this video will take a little while to populate, but once it does, you will get an email containing this video and any information that is deemed to be shared with you today, which is going to be this presentation deck. And Alicia has also sent over an AP calendar. So we will get all of this out to you in an email, but you fill out the survey and that is how you get it. Any other questions, Kevin? I think I'm good. I think you all did a great job today, and thank you all for coming.
Yeah, make sure that, just to reiterate Kurt's point there, make sure that you take the time to fill out this training survey. It's super important for feedback to not only our internal training team, but but everybody involved in this process, as we have to do this 34 more times before we're done with this process.
And you all listened because over 100 surveys just came in, so thank you.
Yeah. We'll stick around for a little bit if there are any lingering questions or people aren't super comfortable asking in a large group. I think Erica, I'm not sure if you have time, but Stephen, Erica, whoever else, stick around and stick to answer questions. But that's all the content we have for you. So you're free to go. Reach out to anybody on this call if you have any questions.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you, Erica. Thank you, Kevin. You did a great job.
Thanks, Kurt.